Welcome, I'm Bill Wake. This is my summary of the work we did on Twitch this week. We were focused on the chord chart for the hammer dulcimer and some cleanup. So we did a better drawing, a different approach to it, and I'll show that in a moment. Some bigger shapes. We allowed for multiple dulcimer sizes and tunings. We did some refactoring to introduce a HalfSteps type that let us avoid places that we're talking about int without being clear about what they were. And we simplified the NoteHD and NotePair structures. Let's see a demo and take a code walkthrough. We changed the way things draw. Before we were doing a separate column of the names on the left and then the graphics in the middle and the names on the right. And we switched it around to instead go row by row. And this is basically a character graphics kind of thing. So Unicode has the shapes we need. So this lets us do this. It makes sure that we can't get off track of between the lettering and the graphics. If the graphics got a little too big, it would throw everything off. And now that's one at a time. And we do the graphics more as an overlay and instead of just in line. And so the overlay aspect lets us make the shape bigger without affecting the rest of the line. We tweaked this index a little to make sure this one last thing could fit. And we added the possible layouts for hammer dulcimers. There are more, and I'm not enough of a player, like I'm not really a hammer dulcimer player at all, to know which ones are most common and are we missing some critical ones, and what about the people with multiple bridges and other things that can go on. So I don't have answers on that, but this seems to be the selection of the ones that seem most common. So the numbers are, the first number tells you how many strings go across on the treble bridge, and the second number is the bass bridge. So a 12-11 has 12 of these 12 notes going down over here and 11 over here, and different variations have more or fewer. All right, the code let's look at. We'll start with bridge layout. So that's the thing that was originally 3 vertical stacks, and now we do 1 vertical stack and then work across bridge the pair by pair. So the pair gives us the notes on either side of the bridge, and the graphics go in the middle. So we put the left name padded by spaces. It's a monospaced font, so we don't have to worry about anything beyond that for sizing. And this just draws a couple of dashes, puts a marker if there should be one, otherwise another dash, and then the text is put on the right. Start that over. All right, so this code does the bridge drawing, or the for a single bridge like the bass bridge or the treble bridge, and instead of going 3 columns, it goes row by row, giving the text with padding, the dashes and the possible marker in the middle, and then more dashes. So that's the line going horizontally. We probably could draw it, but it seemed easy enough to do character graphics for this. And then the text on the right. So it draws the left note, the line across with a marker in the middle, and the right note. And then it's all a stack. So the the characters or the shapes that go on there go across that same row, and we've tweaked the row and height, but the offset minus shape offset puts the shape to the left, and plus shape offset puts it to the right. So that draws the circles or triangles or whatever go on there as well. And again, this is drawn separately. We can make those bigger or smaller as we want to. All right, the next thing we introduced is a modest refactoring. It kind of touched a lot of places because I'd let this go too long, but we had been using int to tell me like how many half steps apart something is. So we had our patterns 0, 4, and 7 makes a major chord. Well, that's really counting the half steps between the two notes. And we just returned int before, but I decided I would wrap this type. And so it just holds one int still, and it has its own operators for plus and minus, and a plus equals, and less than. So those are the comparisons and operations we did on our half steps. Multiplying them doesn't necessarily make a lot of sense. Dividing them really doesn't, and nor do other arithmetic operations. So this does kind of restrict it a bit, but it really does mean that lots of places that we're talking about ints can now talk about half steps. Okay, so we had this NoteHD class. It used to have the integer count. We had originally we told the constructor you had to tell the half steps and the name. Instead, we're going to use the name. We'll drop the octave number that's on there and use the note name from that. So that can give us the half steps back. So that simplified this class and tied it a little more to the note name, which already has some knowledge that we need. So that pulled this class from probably 30 lines down to this. But I think it's still worth having this. It's not a lot of behavior, but it's enough to make things simpler when you're doing them. Okay, then NotePair kind of had the same sort of simplification. Originally, NotePair took NoteHDs, but the way you use it is really mostly to create the bridge structure, the layout of the dulcimer. And in that case, the string name of the note was enough. We can still let this thing know the NoteHD, but it builds them itself. Okay, and we made them optional, and we provided this marker with optional value as well, so we know which ones get that little white rectangle. And then finally, to see this in use, or to see the benefit of it, I guess. So this was like NotePair took a NoteHD that was the number of half steps and, and the note name, and this trimmed it down quite a bit. So now you can see this thing, and the listing makes sense in terms of, it looks much more like the one from the hammer dulcimer. There was a lot of noise before. So it simplified this a noticeable amount and meant they were single line things instead of multi-line. And now it's a little complicated because the different sizes of dulcimers start at different positions in this list, and things get funny near the ends, that sometimes the end doesn't quite follow the pattern that the rest of this does. The normal pattern is a marker, go up a whole step, go up, which is 2 half steps, go up 2 half steps, and then go up 1 half steps to the next marker. And that mostly holds for most of these dulcimer sizes, but let's get to the 1312 has a little bit different top notes, so it follows its own little pattern, and then it we provided a way to append 2 bridges, so we could have this little partial bridge for the 1312, just the extra top, and then put it on a subset of the rest of the bridge. All right. And so you can see the way we construct charts. Most of them can just select a subset of that, the two sizes. So a 9/8 bridge, the treble offset is 4, the bass offset is 4, tells us how far down to start on that bridge. But the 13/12 one is funny, so we have to append the 13/12 top with a selection of the middle of that other long list. And again, here's the plus. It basically appends the two bridges separately. So the new treble, add the other bridge, the new bass, add the other bridge, and build a new chart from it. So this didn't change functionally, but this is a lot easier to match up to this, and to match up to a official tuning chart for one of these things. You can ignore the NotePair and just focus on the string contents, and Xcode puts it in red, so that helps a little bit. Coming up, we're going to do things to kind of get ready for beta tests. So one thing is we have the top level tool, metronome or festival calendar or chord chart or whatever. We don't actually remember which one you're on. So every time you reopen, you start back at the front page. Not the worst thing, but I think it'd be nice to remember the active tool. We need to provide a refresh for the festival calendar. If you open it and left it on that page, if it got updates, you wouldn't have access to them without going back and reopening things. So that's a little need there. Nothing major, but should be done. And then dark mode colors. I had somebody looking early, and they had some. They thought some of the dark mode colors weren't very readable in a couple of cases, so we need to address that. And then I'm sure there's some other prep we'll do for the beta test, but I've got it out in 3 or 4 people's hands now, and I wanted to get it more like 10 to 15. See if they're finding anything funny, and do the work for that. We have other tools we have in mind, but I really do want to get this more in people's hands. Give me feedback and see, like, are they asking for the same tools or whatever. So it's definitely time to do that. We probably could have done that sooner, but I did want to get the chord charts in as well as the song stuff. Okay, you can join us Monday through Thursday, 2 to 4:30 p.m. Oops. You can join us Monday through Thursday, 2 to 4:30 p.m. Eastern Time, Eastern Standard Time, since we switch on Sunday, or 6 to 8:30 p.m. UTC. So it's a little different in UTC hours. I may be changing the schedule soon in the next week or so. We'll see what happens. Just life's changing. All right. If you join us at xp123.com/Twitch, it'll bounce you over to the live session. If you go to xp123.com/YouTube, you can find the old sessions, I think about 3 weeks delayed and lightly edited. Thanks for watching. Hope you can join us sometime. Bye-bye.